guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'd like to compare and contrast the different dining experience in restaurants in China and in the US. Okay, let's start with dining experience in a restaurant in China. Usually when you go to a restaurant in China, if the restaurant is not crowded, you can just pick a table. You can just pick any table you want to sit, and you can just go and sit because there's no host or hostess to sit you. And after you sit down, a waitress will come with menu and ask you what you would like to drink, or what you ask you to order the drink and the food. There's one difference about the menus. Usually menus in China, they have lots of pictures of the dishes, and it also has the name of the dishes. But usually the menus in the US restaurants, they don't have any pictures, but they explain very well how the dish is cooked, what ingredients are. So this is a very big difference. The menus in China, they don't tell you how the food is cooked, but they show you the picture. But in the US, they don't show you pictures, but they tell you how the food is prepared with lots of explanation. So it's a big difference. Restaurants in China usually provide you hot tea to drink, but you can order other things to drink. So after you order your drink, the waitress will still stand there waiting you to order other food. You only order once. You order everything you need, the food, the drink, and then the waitress will leave. So it's quite different because in the restaurant in the US, usually after you order your drink, the waitress will leave and grab your drinks and come back, and so you have some time to look over the menu, and then the waitress will take your orders. So the difference is in China, the restaurants in China, the waitress, they let you order everything at one time, the food, the drink, everything you need. But in the US, usually you order your drink first, and then you order appetizer, main course, and then later you order dessert. So it's like you are ordering 3 times, right? But restaurants in China, you only order once. You order everything you need for the whole meal. So it's a big difference. And this other difference about the order is you don't order for yourself. Usually there will be one person who orders everything for the whole table for everybody. The reason is because we share every dishes. Like if I go out with my family, my father would just order everything for everybody. He's the one who orders everything, every dishes. And if I go out with my friends, we will discuss what we like for our meal, and one person will talk to the waitress to order everything. As I said, that's because we share every dishes that's brought to the table. So we don't have individual dish like American. So give you an example, if my dad ordered 5 dishes, and everybody on the table can eat those 5 dishes. Everybody just shares those 5 dishes. All plates, they are shared. All the food on the plates are shared, but rice or soups in the small bowl, and drinks in the glasses or cup, those are not sharing. But everything, the food dishes on the plates, they are on the middle of the table, those are sharing. So there's a difference about the food service too, because we share everything on the table, and we don't have individual plates like American. So the waitress doesn't need to bring every dish. The waitress doesn't need to bring all the dishes out at the same time. She can bring a dish when it's ready from the kitchen out to our table. So it means when a dish is ready in the kitchen, the waitress will bring it out to the table. She doesn't need to bring every dishes out at the same time, because when one dish is ready and it's brought to our table, everybody can eat that dish. So it's very different because restaurants in the US, everybody they order their own food, so it's very important that the restaurant has to serve everybody's food at the same time, so everybody can eat at the same time. It won't be embarrassing. But because in China we are sharing everything, so the food doesn't need to be served at the same time. During the meal, the waitress is not in China. The waitress is not coming to us and ask, "How's everything?" No. And if you need help or you need anything, you have to literally call waitress, so she can hear you. You got to say it loudly so she can hear you, and she will come over to help you. So it's also very different because in the US, the waitress will come over to you, give an eye on you during your meal to see if you need any help, and we come to ask you how's the food, everything. But in China, the waitress are not coming to you ask you about the food. Actually, the only time you're going to talk to the waitress is probably the first time when you order everything, and in the end you pay. And this is not going to have any small talks or chit chats, because the waitress would just take the orders and just do her own business, take the orders and ask you to pay. That's all. But in the US, the waitress will come over, maybe have some small talks with you and ask you how the food is, and talk to you, be very friendly. So after the meal in China, after we finish eating, we pay, but we don't pay tips. This is very different too. We don't pay tips because the waitress, they have the same salary every month, and she doesn't make her money from tips. She got her salary. And we also don't pay tax because the tax is included in the food price. So this is different too, because I know that waitresses in the US, they make most of their money from tips, and they got very little money from the restaurant. So this is very different because in China, the waitress got most of their money from the restaurant. And the waitress would tell how much is the meal. She would say it, and everybody on the table actually can hear it. And there would be one person who is going to pay the bill. And the person would give the waitress the cash, credit card. But if the person gives cash, then the waitress will literally count in front of us to make sure that the money is correct. Or sometimes we just go to a counter to pay. And actually nowadays, we usually just pay with our phone, because usually I just go out with my phone because I pay with my phone. I don't bring cash or credit cards or anything. It's becoming very popular that we pay everything with our phone. It's so easy for us. But I know in the US is the waitress will put the bill in a black folder and brings it to your table. And then she will leave, and people will put credit cards or cash in the black folder, and then later the waitress will come back to pick it up, and later she's back again and be super friendly because she wants to get a good big tips from you, so she's very friendly and wish you a very wonderful day. And then you sign, and then you give her the tips. And usually that will be 20% of the meal. Now I'm going to just briefly talk about the dining experience in the US. Usually you go to a restaurant, you will be seated by a host or hostess. And then later the waitress comes and asks you what would you like to drink, and then you order your drink. Then the waitress will leave to grab your drink back, and then ask you what would you like to order, some appetizers, what's your main course. So this is very different because in China we order everything at the same time, right? But in the US, you order your drink the first time, and then the second time you order your food, your appetizer and entree, and then later you got your food, and during your meal the waitress will come over to talk to you. How's your food? How's everything? Maybe have some small talk with you. And if you need any help, you're not going to call waitress, come here, because that's what we do in China, because waitresses are very busy in China, and if you don't call her loud, she's not going to hear you. But in the US, the waitress always keep an eye on you because they want to serve you very well so they can have a good tip. So in the US, during the meal, the waitress will keep an eye on you all the time. And if you need any help, you might, do some gesture like this, or give an eye contact, or sometimes the waitress will just come over to add some water for you without you asking. And after that, after your main course, the waitress will come over, clean the table, and then ask you, would you like some coffee or dessert? In China, we don't eat dessert or coffee, so it's very different. And then after your dessert or your coffee, then the waitress will come over and ask you to pay, and then you have to give the waitress the tips. So you will see these two countries, their dining experience in restaurants are actually very different. And I think the difference are because first of all, that we Chinese, we share food, but American, they don't share food. And second is our waitress in China, they make money from the restaurants. They got a certain amount of paid every month. They don't get tips, but in the US, the waitress, they get tips. And also, we don't have appetizer, main course, or dessert. We just have everything at one time. Yep. Okay, so please tell me what you think and comment. Thank you for watching.